Welcome to Soul Talk. This is Nancy Olin Weber. Hi, everyone. Glad you can join us. And I've got a special author here who's a friend, Randall. Can I call you Randy here?
That's fine. Yeah.
Randy Steuber, who's the author of Chasing What Lost, a young man's reckless search for love, connection, and purpose before GPS and texting. And so, having read, oh my God. So, Randy, welcome. And I'm not going to say another word about what I read about the book. I'm going to
Yeah.
ask a lot of questions afterwards, but let's start off with what prompted you to even write before we go into what you wrote?
So, yeah, that's actually relatively easy to talk about it. I made these journals about dad tell me your story journals and mom tell me your story journals to help people understand more about their own parents. And of course, my adult daughter saw those. The first words out of her mouth are, "Well, when are you going to write your stories down?" Said,
Did,
"Okay, you're right."
did she know it?
Um,
Did she know you?
yeah, she knows some of my stories, obviously, but not a lot of, not all of them, nowhere near all of them.
Mm.
So I started out, when I first started, to be honest, it was really going to be just kind of about youthful, testosterone-filled adventures that, the young men go on. And as I started writing them, I realized I was getting myself into some more deeper thought process. So as I wrote it and rewrote it and rewrote it, it became a little bit, there's still some testosterone filled, silly things that boys do in there, but I started realizing there was some more emotional stuff that I was digging out too.
I'd say big time. I was, people, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz in a good way. People see you smile, people see who you are here and anywhere. I mean, I've watched you on, we have an authors group, for those who don't know, a large one and a wonderful one. And I think I haven't met anyone without a really spiritual purpose to what they're writing. You have a family legacy that you write about throughout this. Whoa. Would you elucidate, please? Share with us
I'm sorry, what did you ask again? I missed
about your family legacy.
about my parents and such. Yeah.
And
And I
any,
don't I don't think that it was that unusual. I didn't think it was overly unusual. My parents, luckily for me, I guess, stayed together until I was 18. And I had what I thought was a relatively typical childhood. I mean, most of my friends had similar childhoods. Um,
oh,
we had
wait a minute. I read a lot of it. So it's in the book, and but certain parts are both highlights and lowlights. And maybe I'm misinterpreting, but your father seemed pretty tough.
there were my parents were tough. My father came from a rough background. He literally was the boy that grew up milking the cow before he went to school in the morning. Um, One of his big stories he told me was, the last whipping he got because he blew up the water barrel when he was 13.
How did he
When you
blow that
live,
up?
what's that?
How did he blow that up?
Well, with an M80, he he, um, he was throwing M80s into the water barrel and watching them blow, and he thought that was fun, so he tied a rock to one and threw it in, and it sunk to the bottom and blew up, and that was into the water barrel. And when you live on a farm in the middle of nowhere with no running water, that's that's a big deal.
Okay, so in your memoir, which is what it is, it's a fascinating memoir because of there are certain threads I see in it, and what you just said reminds me of quite a few other guys I knew growing up, uh, and later on. My father was never like that. but a lot of people are. Someone I married was like that, loved explosives just to see if it works. Nothing
Oh,
else,
heck yeah.
right? Not to
That's,
harm anyone, or it's just, and I go, who are you and why? But I listened to yours, I read yours, and there were things that happened in your life. I don't want to reveal anything that are pretty shocking for a kid to have to go through. However, there are two things I want to ask you. One, how did you stay calm in such, because I know when I went through things, I froze inside. I wasn't calm. I was numb. And there's a term for freezing, immobility, trauma immobility. That's me when I was young. You were not. In the midst of danger, you were calm. I'm reading it and going, who is this? How did you know to do that?
you know, I'll there's two things, and I guess I can reveal something. When I went even back farther a little bit to the time I ran into that elk in the mountains when I was really young.
I read it.
Um,
The bull elk? Yes.
the bull elk, oh my word, that was
Wait a
like,
minute. You were right there with him like this, right?
oh, I came around the tree and we were pretty much face to face, and well, I'm looking up. Yes, he was huge. I
Right.
was, and I was just a kid, so
How old were you, do you think?
oh, at that time I must have been 12, maybe. I'm thinking, you know.
And
Um,
12 is not such an easy age to stay calm. I'm just saying.
I just kind of backed up and gave him his space very calmly and slowly. And then, of course, once I got away from him, I was nervous about finding my way back to the cabin. I had no idea where I was. Um,
You had
so
what was it? You had no idea where you were.
no, I had no idea where I was.
Did
It
that
was
happen often? Yes, it did.
well, a few times.
Yes, I read. I'm saying, but you're here now, so you got out and you
I
found your
got out.
way. And
We got out. There were a few times when it was questionable, I suppose.
but I still
Uh,
want to know how you stayed calm. What made you do that? Where did you
that was probably the first time that I can recall where it was. I felt it was a necessity. I knew I didn't want to make that bull elk upset.
I would be saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm here with you," and not know
And
what to do. Just blab it. Wow.
so I just kind of backed up. But I mean, that's
We
my family. I don't know. Like I said, my dad grew up in the woods, so I don't think he thought twice about me taking off and going for a hike in the woods. But we had never been in that area. I didn't know my way around. And by the sun started going down, I had no idea which direction was west or east, or I had no idea where I was.
really,
Um, so I had to find the cabin that we were just renting. I had never been there before. Um, but
I can't cope with even thinking that.
we, and like I said, I'll get this one because that's a short part of it. But it occurred to me that the cabin was along the river. And it occurred to me that the stream I saw was going to make its way to the river. So I made my way through the brush down to the river. And it was like it was a trail, it's just through the brush. And when I got to the river, I was relatively safe that I could follow that river as best I could. And I'd make my way back to the cabin. So that was,
Okay, so there are two things that really, yes, I grew up in Brooklyn, so people go, oh, well, you wouldn't know what a forest looks like, but I do. But I never had a GPS like that in my life. I mean, you had that, but it had to be combined no matter what at age 12, which is uh, not coming of age yet, but getting there, which you express beautifully in the book. It's like this whole rhythm you put into the book, and it's easy read for those who don't know about things like this. It's like it is a page turner. It's like, oh my God. And then, oh, that's interesting. And each one brings something resonant in me as I'm reading. But part of it is, where does he stay so calm? I don't get it. I mean, I really
Well,
didn't. I still don't, because I read about your family life and maybe how you lived it or perceived it now, living it then. And yet there's this incredible, I don't know if it's peace, but it's certainly calm.
I have, and I appreciate that. I look back and I can just say that I know from the times I wasn't calm that things didn't go well. And when I was calm, things went better. And
Well, yes. And you were that
yeah.
clear as a child. I guess you were because you were able to find your way anywhere.
Well, like you said, that, and some of it, like you said, that I won't go into too much detail about that, but when I was stuck on that raft with that man, same sort of thought process. I didn't want to upset him.
You give so much of who you are in the book. What were you thinking about how women would perceive it? What about that for
You
you?
know, excuse me. When I first was writing it, I wasn't really thinking about that at all. What I was thinking about was, like I said, I was going to write the testosterone stories, and then I started getting a little bit more about the emotional side of it. Started thinking about it. Then after I finished reading it, and myself about the 20th time after rewriting it, I thought, I wonder if women know that some of these things men go through very quietly and don't tell
Hmm.
you. My first chapter that I wasn't sure if I wanted to share that, to be honest. I never really talked about
Sure. I'm sure. I was blown away.
it. Well, I've already had two men, and I haven't had that many people read it yet. I've already had two men tell me that they've been through something very similar and they haven't told a soul, not even their wife.
Thank you. Thank you. Because let me share something with you. I know several victims like that. You're not a victim. Let's be clear. You're good to go.
Oh,
You're really good. I mean, there's a part of you that understood everything and took the risks anyhow and did incredibly resilient in such a calm, good manner, even if you didn't mean it out loud, but you did it. And I think that's amazing in you, really amazing. But I do know many of them because as a person who keeps everything confidential about people I speak with, I have to. I took an oath, but also as a minister, I took an oath. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So to have others see that and say that, women know. I mean, women all talk. We talk to each other. I talk on classes about what happened to men and women. I don't really care. But to come out as a man with all that you say about what you've been through in life and mention that, you have just opened up a door for women to understand men. So, ladies, women, sorry, I don't know what I call me, and people have called me many different things, so I have no clue. But I'm telling you, it's insight for us, and it truly is for me, because my husband doesn't speak very much about what he goes through. He doesn't. Fortunately, I am psychic, and I do read his mind. But if I hadn't, we may not be together because I think it's misinterpretation for us. We misinterpret men's way of handling some men, most men, I'd say. And you just said that, and it's all over your book. So who you are and how you are and what you do. And I think that's the thing that has to get out to the world well. And you're doing it. That's beautiful.
well, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and and part of that, like you said, part of the weird thought process, I don't know if it's just a male thing, but I enjoyed my freedom to be able to go off and run and stuff. And I knew that my father and my mother were not always keen on it. They were kind of, we always joke about back in the day when you'd leave and you didn't come home until dusk, and that's true. But there was a consequence too if you screwed up. And I didn't want to lose that freedom. So I
Hmm.
never wanted them to think that I was stupid and that I got lost. I didn't want them to know that I got myself into trouble.
That was the piece I read in the book that went, oh, how interesting. Because that I think women can identify with too. They may not get lost in the woods, but I know I ran out the door and came back when I absolutely had to.
Yeah.
Bye bye, uh, uh, etc. So yeah, and wouldn't talk about anything that happened outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
My,
read that and went, oh, hello, I know you.
yeah. Yeah. It's like, I don't want them to know that I screwed up because then I'm going to lose some sort of freedom. So,
Exactly. I, you said it. I never even thought about that until I read that. And I went, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It's like, obviously you can't be
Oh,
trusted to be alone. Okay. Well, we don't want that. Um,
I love your take on it. I absolutely love it. I don't know how many other people identify with it easily and go, yeah, well, that's how we felt. I used to run out on my bike and I would come back for as long as I could stay out somewhere and travel all over Brooklyn. No problem. Didn't tell them, didn't want to. Checked out
oh, yeah.
crossing the street reading a book with cars, busy. I would test everything. And I'm going, I'm still here. I don't know how or why, but I'm still here. And you said it, and
Still
I
here.
never put that, I felt it, but I never put it into words until I read that. Very cool. Very cool.
Well, thanks.
Everything I was
Yeah.
reading, I'm going, oh, 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 oh. You're a joy. You may not know it, but you are a joy to read. Thank
Well,
you.
thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope, like my daughter just texted me here yesterday actually to tell me she received my book herself now. So we'll see how she takes all of it
Oh.
because there's stuff in there that she does not know, but she will now.
Mhm. I understand that one. I hesitated. Well, I didn't write these until I was much older, particularly Soul Detective. But my kids pretty much have always known most of what happened, just like yours. And some I held back, and some I will hold back. Because I want them to hold some of it back, right? For the same reason
Yeah,
you didn't want to tell anybody.
yeah.
Figure my
There's
kids do the same thing. That's fine.
Well, yeah, you read that, and I was kind of vague during the one phase where I was working at the bar about everything that happened at that bar. But I think people will get to understand what was going on. I was working at a bar, and it was a small bar, and it was kind of a more of a white collar crowd, but it was still a bar, and this type of stuff that goes on at a bar, and yeah,
Yep.
um,
So, I know you went through a terrible loss,
yeah,
a loss,
yeah,
and you openly talk about how it felt, how it feels. And I want to suggest something to people. An author who writes from their heart and soul uh, has a mystery to reveal in a lot of ways. They're figuring out as they write also and getting ahas as they go. It's catharsis for sure for all of us who write, but it's also hoping to resonate with others. And in this time, I think it's a perfect time for everyone to understand a little bit more about the, as you say, the workings of a male in our society. I think it's helpful for them. I also think it's helpful for us to find common ground, which you do a lot of, from your childhood things to your great loss of your sister. I get that. Um, Many of us have had lots of losses in our lives, and we need the language of the heart, I guess, and you have it. Whether you know it or not, you definitely have it. And so, Randy, I, I'm just talking to friends out there who may be watching. You need to get the book. It's fast and easy in its own way because chapters are very short. There are a lot of chapters, but sometimes when I read, after I read like 10, 15 chapters, I close my eyes and I just open up anywhere because there's a lesson for me. And I do that with most books. And wherever my eyes go, if my intention is to learn something, and so you have a lot of teachings throughout the book. So, any last words you like to share with everyone?
Well, I don't know if I have any really last words. I think the goal, like I said, when I started going through it, I realized that for me personally, um, I was searching for my own purpose, and even though I spent a lot of time running away from my family because of the problems, at the same time I was really searching for a family.
Ah,
And that's really didn't hit me till I wrote it.
mm-hmm.
That was such a huge part of my running, as it were. Spent a lot of time running.
High five. I am on my third husband for 36 years, though. I
Well,
say
that's
he's
awesome.
the only one I really married. I mean, I had two other legal ones, and I have two children by them, but this is my real marriage. I because some of us don't grow up right away. The age may say we're grown up, but the rest of us is going, are you kidding me? I got more to
Yeah.
go, right?
Yeah.
And I found that so refreshing in you, in your honesty about all of it in the book. I can't thank you enough for joining. Thank you.
Well, I can't thank you enough. Really, thank you for having me on, and
My
look
pleasure.
forward to talking with you soon.
Good idea, because we meet on a group. We're lucky. I get to play with everybody there. So, everybody, I will hope you have a great day. In the description, I've got the link to Amazon and a little bit more about all where he is. So, this is Randall Steuber, or Randy, and you can find it all shortly. Have a great day, everyone. This is Soul Talk signing off.